As artists, we all get stuck. The trick is, what do you do to get unstuck? Stick around for two tips, two things that I do to help me get unstuck.
So I was working on this piece and I had to stop and I thought it would make a good video because I have kind of struggled with this piece. It is a piece that is kind of almost a yin and yang. It's almost like a card. They're kind of sharing their hand down here, if you will. And I did this part and I was really liking it. And then I moved to this guy and I really liked part of it. I had this, I was leaving all this ear and everything kind of loose. But I was noticing that I was really just struggling with the piece in general. I kind of put it up, and I'll do this a lot. I'll just put a piece away for a little while. And this is one of the things I wanted to recommend is keep several pieces going at once, because if you do get stuck, you can just put it up for a little bit and you can just look at it and not make last minute decisions down the road. But on the other side of that coin, I can't say down the road, not make last minute decisions right then and there. Just put it up, look at it for a little while, and think about it. And what I was noticing is that my arms were starting to disappear. And what I realized is I had the same value. If I kind of crunched my eyes up, I was seeing the same value, especially on this shirt right here. It was the same value as this. It was just as light. The highlights were the same highlights as that, and it was just flattening everything out. And so I thought to myself, why can't he be wearing a darker shirt? So I started darkening this value here, and all of a sudden this arm starts pushing out. I was also noticing that, and you can't really see this, but I've erased some of it, but I was going to leave the head just really loose. There was something I really liked about just this vagueness of the head. But then I was just not liking it. So I decided to go in and start just looking at shapes. And here's the other one that I wanted to talk about is that shape language is so important when you're doing a piece, any piece. I was going to say a piece like this, but it's really any piece. Your shape language is so important. Is the overall shape an interesting shape? And this is an interesting shape. His big ear, he kind of balances out with his goatee kind of thing, and then the hair coming down and this arm pushing out almost like this ear here, and then it kind of coming down. And even though I have a lot going on here, you can see I'm starting to add a little bit more. I wanted this busyness here. I wanted the eye to get a little confused on what was going on, because you're looking at this hand going, oh wait, that's his hand. Oh no, wait, it's the other guy's hand. What is it? I don't know. So I wanted this busyness going on. So I intentionally moved these arms into the body, but I still needed this interesting shape. And what I noticed is that on this guy, I wasn't getting that interesting shape. I was just getting this kind of movement here and an arch here, arch, and I was liking that, but I was realizing I need to finish this. I need to finish the shape up here, and I still need to do something with this. Of course, me and ears, I love the ears. I love shapes of ears, and also it kind of replicates this direction, right? So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. And on this side, I'm going to have the same thing with the ears, 1, 2, 3. And it's going to create this rhythm throughout the piece, and shape language is going to make it interesting. And so I want to say that everybody struggles with pieces, and everybody struggles with trying to figure out what to do. And I always just if you do the work, you got to get to a point where you trust yourself. Like I'm doing something here. I had these smaller, I was going to do kind of swords this way and this way. And I just realized I didn't like how thin they were. I didn't like it. So I started erasing. I made them bigger, and I'm going to push this out this way, and I'm going to push this one out this way. And I don't know. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get rid of this line because it's obviously in there. You know, it's into the fibers of the paper, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm gonna push it, and I'm just gonna trust that my desire to have something here and my desire to push something out this direction too, to once again keep those repeating patterns, that I'll figure it out. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of go, I know I kind of want a shape, and I'm just going to go after the shape. And once I get a pleasing shape, almost anything I do in there is going to be okay. And I'll trust myself that I'll figure out what I'm going to do, whether I turn these into designs on a sword. Maybe it's a sword blade going this way and a sword blade going this way. I don't know. But I know I want a shape. I know I kind of want it arched up a little bit. I want it a little fatter, and I want it to come down. And I know I want a shape. So I'm going to lightly sketch it in, and then I'm going to see if I like that shape or not. I'm not going to do it during the video because I think that, well, I can do some of it during the video, as a matter of fact. Why not, right? I just don't want this video to get too gosh awful long. I've had some videos that have just been a little on the long side. But I'm going to kick that shape out. Might even arch it up a teeny bit at the end, just to make it a little more interesting of a shape. I'm gonna carry on this line here, because now I got something to do with that line, right? So I got a shape. Then I'm gonna do the same for this other side, because I'm gonna kind of want to shape out this way. It's almost like a dueling sword, if you will. I'm doing it light enough so if I do need to erase, I can. I'm going to really try not to when I'm doing this. Let me zoom it out a little bit so you guys can see kind of what I'm talking about there. But see, okay, even just that, look at the difference in the shape that that's going to create in this whole piece where it was thin in the middle, and all of a sudden I'm adding some width there. And it's going to really balance things where you're going to be able to, your eye's going to kind of circle around, come back and circle up, and even the curve of the sword is reaching you back into the character itself. And same with this one, reaching back into the character itself. So do your work, do your studying, and then trust yourself in your pieces and push yourself and know that you're gonna wreck some pieces, you're gonna destroy some pieces, but eventually I am definitely a little on the older side. So I have finally reached a point that I trust myself enough that I'm just going to go for it, and I trust that I'm going to figure it out. I don't have it perfectly planned out. It's not the kind of artist I am. And I would encourage you, if that's the kind of artist you are, try not planning everything out. Try some abstracts and turning them into shapes, scribbles and turning them into shapes, and let yourself kind of go. And see how that informs your work when you go back to the well planned out and executed pieces. Will that help you inform your work? So that was really all I wanted to say is trust yourself. Do the work, trust yourself. Look for the basics in art. Look for shape language. That's really what this whole thing is about. Look for shapes, look for values. If you're feeling like the piece is too flat, look for values. Your values are probably off. If you find your piece just isn't interesting, look at your shape language. Chances are your shape language is not working. It's not an interesting shape. And you'll see a lot of people do thumbnails, and they're just trying to do shapes, and they're trying to find interesting shapes. And the reality is it doesn't matter how well something is rendered. If the shapes that are created in the drawing or the painting aren't interesting, the painting is not going to be as solid and as interesting itself. And so I will always go back in if I'm not liking the piece, and I'll look at the shape, and I call it shape language. I'll keep saying that, and I'll look at it, and I'll keep refining it until it is an interesting shape to look at. So anyhow, please like and follow, and let anybody else know who might be interested in hearing some of this stuff. So anyhow, thank you so much, and take care. Bye.